All right, guys, it's Neon. I'm here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about anime and the ongoing trend this week. It seems that the anime industry is trying to take the gay away.
It seems that way.
Just when we thought we had anime figured out.
Yeah, they just throw us a curveball here.
They throw us a curveball. So we have two instances this week about translations being mistranslated or retranslated that basically removes the gayness from canonically gay characters,
yeah,
I guess. I mean, I don't understand what's going on here. Now, people are going to argue with me about Evangelion, but I've covered it on a couple other videos where Kaworu, they basically said, hey, you know, we're friends, we're good friends. And the internet exploded, you know, not in that way, but you know, just in
I don't think that was thinking in that way until you made that comment.
Well, because I'm sure there probably.
I don't think the internet was exploding in that way. I'm sure some people did, but we're not going to talk about that.
But so that was sort of like outrage number one, and we're going to talk about both these.
We'll do this one first, and then we'll go to the other one.
Okay, so before we get into this, before we do this, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed already. We're closing in on 40,000 subs. Geeky wants your subs.
I do.
I'm gonna get her a new She-Ra doll.
I'm going to buy my own dang She-Ra doll, thank you.
Buy your own.
I'm going to get one for it.
I have purchased you She-Ras before.
I know, but I'm going to get my own doll so I can brush.
And she's going to brush to celebrate.
For 40,000. We'll do other stuff too, I'm sure.
Yeah. If we hit 50,000, she gets 2 She-Ra dolls.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I'm going for Gem. Anyway, go
then
ahead.
She's going to, once she gets all the She-Ras, she's going for Gem. Okay, so it got so bad with Neon Genesis Evangelion with the dub controversy. Not only was the dub kind of subpar compared to the original in a lot of people's opinions, myself included, for the Netflix version versus the ADV version, but they changed the dialogue so that Kaworu, who seemed to be, well, gay in the original, was no longer showing those kinds of feelings for Shinji, and now the translator has reacted to the controversy.
Yes.
So you found this today. This is
I
coming
did.
from Comic Book Resources. Evangelion has arrived on Netflix, but the new dub of the famous anime series has caused a bit of controversy. There are multiple controversies. It's not just this, but this was one of the ones that caused a lot of people to be upset. Nevertheless, the new translator responsible for the dub is defending himself and his choices.
Would you like me to read? Because you're losing your voice.
I am losing my... No, it's okay. Go
ahead. Are you sure? Because
I've got it. I've got this.
Okay, because you're saying, I'm losing my voice.
Okay, the anime series, which premiered in '95, has been regarded as a highlight of the medium for over 20 years. Yes. Late in the original dub of the series, Shinji and his friend Kaworu were implied to be in love with each other. No, that actually is wrong. Shinji and Kaworu were not in love with each other. Kaworu made overtones to Shinji. I do not believe those were ever really reciprocated. He was just happy that somebody liked him at all. But I digress. It was a watermark for queer representation in mainstream anime. However, the new Netflix dub changes the dialogue, tweaking the relationship in the process and removing the potential homosexual subtext.
Right. Well, I'm just like, I mean, does this kind of go against what they keep saying they want?
Yeah. I mean, this is just, this was a really strange decision. Now, I have heard in the comments on the other Evangelion videos that this translation is actually closer to the original Japanese translation, which was kind of ambiguous. But after 20 some years, you know, it does kind of seem like, I guess, a step backwards for a lot of people that, you know, why are we censoring gay feelings?
But
in
is
2019.
The Japanese version, they said it stays ambiguous. It wasn't like making those.
I've heard it both. I've heard it both ways. I've heard some people say it could be taken either way, like I like you or I really like you.
Okay.
So I don't know. I know that
the Japanese version was that way. Then it makes more sense to continue it this way. That's why I'm asking. But go ahead. So
Twitter user Faye reached out to Dan Kanemitsu, the credited translator for the series, and shared his response, which came in the form of 3 tweets. Kanemitsu is ultimately standing by his decision, saying the translation is geared toward representing the source material above potential subtext.
Okay, so he's claiming that's the source
He's claiming
material.
that it wasn't explicitly stated that Kaworu had gay feelings.
But
for
they
Shinji.
didn't explicitly state it in the version originally, did they? I don't think they did. It was implied.
It was heavily implied. Yeah. Now they're wrong about Shinji and them getting that was Shinji was sort of like, oh golly, he likes me, and Kaworu was like, yeah, I really like you, you know. But anyway, and they went and jerked off to Asuka, but that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
it happened too. But
Yes, I know.
they even screw that up too, I
No
guess.
pun intended.
So the power of storytelling sometimes depends on the ability of audiences to establish emotional relationships with the characters, as well as recognize intimacy between people based on inferences.
Why do you keep making that voice?
I don't know. It helps me get through this wall of text. It is one thing for characters to confess their love. It's quite another for the audience to infer affection and leave them guessing. How committed are the characters? What possible misunderstandings might be taking place? Leaving room for interpretation makes things exciting. While the internet, they want to be excited by explicit.
Really? I don't know how to take this. I mean, it sounds like they're trying to stick to the source material, and I don't know who's mad. They don't like the way so the internet's mad because they don't like the way they took that inferred relationship.
In the ADV dub, and I think it was
I've seen. You know,
Kaworu is very openly
Yes,
affectionate toward Shinji. I do not recall Shinji reciprocating.
But
He
the
was
source
more...
material was not so much, so they kind of tweaked it that way.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because they did the opposite with Sailor Moon, what we're going to talk about in a minute. So I don't know what to think here, because it sounds like they went back to the original version more so than anything. But on the flip side is, I'm like, if you're trying to be more progressive, I don't think if you have a character that is gay, that you should make them straight for no reason. Just like I do not believe if a character has been canonically straight for years, they should suddenly be gay for no reason. I think that the characters should stay true to themselves, but it sounds like this character was not that way, and it not specified that way, and they made it so.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird situation, because I like I said, I've heard both. I've heard that it was never, Kaworu was never explicitly, stating his feelings for Shinji, other than like a generic, like, I care about you kind of a way, whereas the ADV translation was like, I would like to jump you, not
There is a difference.
There is a difference.
But anyway, speaking of messing up, this is the one, and now the other one people are having a problem with, which actually took canonically gay characters and did not, show that they were, was apparently Viz had put out the Sailor Moon, Sailor Stars DVDs that I actually want to get at some point, because I do have the subtitled version.
Yeah, but not now, not after what they did.
So I'm sure most of you are familiar with what happened with the original, when they brought the original like Sailor Moon S and stuff out to the United States. They changed it, and instead of Uranus and Neptune being together, they were cousins. Because it was that there was a little bit come on.
They were just
it
very
didn't take
close.
much to imagine that they were a little too close for cousins, or they could have been very, 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 very close cousins.
They were just very close cousins.
They were very close cousins.
Country cousins.
Yes. So anyway, with the new dubs and stuff, they've been fixing those mistakes. However, Viz put out the Sailor Stars DVD, and with it, they have made a mistake in the translation. So it says Viz Media has formally apologized for what it says was a translation error in the limited edition. This is the limited edition, like $80 set. People are buying for collectors, right? Release of Sailor Moon, Sailor Stars, the long-awaited dub of the series' final season. According to Viz Media, the mistranslation implied the characters Sailor Neptune and Sailor Uranus, I can't read, who are canonically gay and in a relationship with one another, were not.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so for years everybody had a problem with that, because they honestly, they really didn't need to change that, even back in the 90s. I think people would have been fine with it.
Well, I think it's because it was on Toonami, like in the afternoon. I think if it wasn't, if they hadn't set the precedent that Sailor Moon back then was for kids with the Deke version, I think if it had just been on like Toonami at night or Adult Swim, nobody would have cared. But because they had the toys and whatever,
but even then, it doesn't really matter. But
in the 90s, I think people would have freaked out.
But anyway, in this case, it was its own thing. It's not like they're taking characters like they did with She-Ra and retconning them into being something they're not. These characters were established that way from the beginning. That's who they were, and it was not a problem. But they changed it. People didn't like that, so they're fixing it. So anyway, they finally get this limited edition collector set out, and they mess it up.
How?
That is a very good question.
How do you mess
Rather
that
than a mistranslation in one of the show's episodes, the error was actually in the romanticized translation of Japanese lyrics. What do they call it? Romaji? I don't know how you pronounce that.
Yeah, the booklet.
In the booklet. in the collector's booklet package in the limited edition home release of Sailor Moon. So now they're saying now they have gone and fixed it. They said the team here at Viz was very excited to take on the honor of localizing Sailor Moon, especially acknowledging that Sailor Neptune and Sailor Uranus were not friends, but in fact partners, because they didn't do that originally. We made a mistake in the Sailor Moon Sailor Stars booklet, and we deeply apologize for the implications of our error. And now, I think if you go down, they talk about if you want to get a new booklet, they're going to make those available. They're talking about the source of controversy since the 90s, you know, because they did. It was ridiculous how much they tried to push the cousins thing. So they thanked the community for bringing attention. They added they're working towards a solution for customers who would like to request a replacement booklet, which I am sure people will like a replacement booklet because it's a collector's edition. However, if they let you hold on to the other booklet, I would, because the error might be worth money later.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was the one issue people had. I mean, they've been going on about this for years, rightfully so, for years and years and years about this, and they turn around and they have one job, and they still screw it up.
That blows my mind. Like, that's, you know, the one reason everybody was like super excited about the redub of Sailor Moon was they're like, finally, you know, they're not going to cut all this stuff out because it was kind of an unnecessary thing to cut out.
Yeah, and it's like the one thing so this is so funny because we have two sides here. On the Neon Genesis Evangelion, they have the problem where they're basically saying they went back to the original translation. Yeah. And people are having a problem with that because it was implied something. But if that's the case, then it never was at the beginning with, and they're putting it back to normal. Where the Sailor Moon, it's been that way since the beginning with them being together.
Stated,
and then they messed it up, and now they tried to put it back, and they screwed that up. So it's like two sides of the coin here.
Within a week, like, it's so, like, you know, I don't even know what to think here, because for all, you know, we talk about how, you know, they're pushing for more progressiveness in anime, right? To the point sometimes I think of being a little ridiculous, a little too far, a little too PC.
They can make the story's not fun anymore.
Right. So for all of that, we have the other side of the coin, which is like two of the best loved franchises in anime history, and they screw them both up in the same week.
I know, it's funny, and I just find it hilarious. But
oh God, okay, so what a time to be an anime fan. But for me personally, I'm hanging on to my Platinum edition, which you bought me of Evangelion, and I'm not parting with it because I think the Netflix dub is balls. I think it's terrible, just all the way around. It's terrible.
So there we go. Two screw ups in 1 week. And like I said, I have absolutely no problem at all with characters being canonically gay, and so I just have a problem with people changing them. It's like if their character's gay, there's no reason to make them straight. If the character's straight, there's no reason to make them gay. Just keep the characters they are, people.
I think
how hard is this?
Yeah, I think that's what people are saying, like, especially with comics and stuff, is like, you know, the characters are who the characters are. If you want a different kind of character, just make a different kind of character, but don't take classic characters and change them, because that does a disservice to the fans, and that's not being sexist or homophobic or racist or whatever. It's just like, you know, if you want more diverse characters, just create new characters. Yeah, don't repurpose.
Yes, exactly.
Characters.
And the thing is, now it's going to be interesting because now you have two different versions of the story with the Evangelion, and according to the person who dubbed it, that was the original way. It was implied. It wasn't implied that was going on.
Yeah,
so
that's a debate. I guess that's been raging in the community for years. I didn't know, because I mean, I only went by the ADV version. But I guess it's been a debate in the community for years about whether or not Kaworu was explicitly making the moves on Shinji or not. I think it was a little more explicit in the movies, but yeah, so now it's like, God, this is...
I do find it interesting that for Netflix, and Netflix has been highly progressive on things, and, you know, for all the stuff going on, that they've done this, you know, because, I mean, you'd think they'd leave it that way. I mean, even, I know it wasn't the original, but because people expect it after it's been this way for how many years on the English translation, you'd think that they would have left it that way. But I don't know.
I don't know, unless it wasn't the intention. They just went back to basics and said, we're just going to forget the ADV dub and we're going to go back to the source material. And
that's what it sounds like.
You know, and
so apparently by the source material, that is not the case. Yeah. So there's the answer on that one, apparently. According to the dub the person who did the dubs, and then Sailor Moon, Sailor Stars, Neptune and Uranus are lesbians. So I don't know why that they even messed that one up, because that's been a point of contention for people for years. I mean, I don't even know why they called them cousins. It was so obvious they were cousins. Well, they had characters they were calling. They made them male, but they were actually women because they didn't want, they thought that was problematic.
Yeah, vice versa.
And it's like,
was it Zoisite? I think Zoisite.
Yeah, they had a couple of them. Yeah, it's like, for pity's sakes,
Oh my God!
Does it matter?
So this is just—it's just so weird. Like I said, two major screw ups on classic anime series.
Big anime series
in the same week. During Pride Month. Of all time. I mean, seriously, like, point. So yeah, it's going to be fun to watch. Well, it's not going to be fun to watch, but it's going to be interesting to watch the.
Well, the Sailor Moon thing they fixed.
That's fixable.
I still can't believe it. I still don't understand how that happened. I mean, I do not understand how that one happened at all.
Yeah.
This one, it makes sense because I can see how this could happen.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know. I just know that me personally, having listened to a little bit of the Netflix dub, I don't like it, and if I'm gonna watch dubbed anime, it's gonna be the original voice cast, because I just think they're 100 times better.
You don't like change, no?
I don't like change because I'm old. Well, no, because
changing everything.
Sentimental reasons for me, because Evangelion was the very first anime I bought the entire series on VHS.
Gosh, that is how old you are.
$25 a tape for like 2 episodes.
How much did that cost you?
Well, by the time they were done releasing it, it was like 13 tapes, so times 25. Now, they didn't come out, they came out like once every other month or something like that. So, but yeah, so I've bought it multiple times. So for me, it's like, the dub has sentimental value. So to hear other people doing the voices just doesn't seem right. I don't know. It's just me. I'm old.
I love you. All right. Are we done?
We're done. So please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, rants, gaming videos, art videos, and more here on Clownfish TV.
Oh, this is Geeky. Am I supposed to say that?
Geeky goes first. Yeah.
I'm Geeky, and this is Neon. And we'll see you later.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Hey guys, thanks for watching Clownfish TV. Please consider supporting the channel. Go to clownfishsupport.com. That's clownfishsupport.com. And if you want to join our community, go to clownfishtalk.com. That's clownfishtalk.com. Please subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We will talk to you next time.